Hi, I'm Lisa Pinkham, and I'm so glad to be here with you. I'm still making sure that everything's working okay, and look like I'm live. So if you're able to participate, just let me know in the chat box that you're here and where you're from. And we'll just kind of visit and have a small talk until some more folks show up. I think I got a few other things I need to type in, so I'll make sure I've done that. Welcome, Dietrich. So glad you're here. Hey, Melissa. Welcome. Hi, Tony. Hi, Tara. Wow. Oh, this is so fun. Hi, Andrea and Richard. So glad you're all here. Wow. Hey, Jeff. Welcome. Wow. I have new people I haven't met before, but I've got friends from all over the world, Ireland and Virginia and Texas and Vancouver, right? No, British Columbia. Yeah, this is great. Hey, Sophia. Glad you're here. Hi, Rosemary. Welcome. Rosemary's from Virginia as well. I was in Northern Virginia for 17 years, and now I'm in Kent Island, Maryland. Actually, I have to drive across a 4.5 mile bridge to get home. I'm just on the other side of the bridge from Annapolis, Maryland. And beautiful day here. I'm glad in this time in history to be where it's a little quieter. Hi, Barb. Welcome. And I just want to point out if you, hi, Sandra. Welcome. If you haven't watched Dr. Wilder's recent video, he put it up last night. It's 4 minutes long and it's excellent. It is so good, and it would be one that would be great to share with others. So I highly recommend that after this if you haven't watched that yet. So I have been practicing the piece um, probably about 10 times a week for the past month. I facilitate online small groups, and we've been incorporating it into the work we're doing. And so I just have so many memories in my mind of peaceful stories that people have told me, and it's really, really helped me through these days. And I'm also trying to do some new passing the peace forums using Zoom. And for some folks, the term passing the peace um, brings up other images and other practices that we can't do right now. So sometimes I'll call it still sharing the peace, but I'm using the 3 steps of passing the peace. So hello, Jessica. Welcome. So it's really fun to see comments, and I just want to invite you to just choose whatever works best for you. If you want to just close your eyes and stay relaxed and not look at the comments, you'll be able to see them later when this is posted after the live video. But if you also like to see who's out there and like to engage, then that's an option too. So just invite you to think about what works best for you. Just probably wait about 1 more minute and then we'll get started. My first exposure to Life Model Works was July of 2014, and I went online and found Joy Starts Here, and they have a free download of chapter 10. And I downloaded that and read it, and I said, this is going to change everything. This is going to change my life. I've been a follower of Christ for 30 years, and everything that worked before was no longer working, and I needed some help. So, and I also realized, wow, our country, our culture, our world needs help. So I'm really grateful that I've had these 6 years studying and learning and practicing and just growing in my maturity and noticing where I have gaps, where I'm weak, where I need to learn other practices. So, and I really love how Passing the Peace just distills all those practices into 3 steps. And I will hold up a few diagrams. So, Passing the Peace is now translated into at least 22 different languages. So that's fun. It was developed by Dr. Jim Wilder, my favorite neurotheologian, my favorite theologian, and he and his wife Kitty have used this in many parts of the world, and the intent is to go into places where people are having a hard time relaxing, their minds are racing, they're dealing with some type of trauma or pain or war or natural disaster, and they're wanting to find ways to find peace, to quiet our minds, to get some resolution, and to be able to relate to each other without overwhelming each other, but actually having each other feel better and more peaceful and more hopeful. So I'm so thankful that this easily accessible and easily reproducible tool has been developed. So let's begin. I have come to deeply value and understand the importance of paying attention to my body and doing whatever I can to help my body relax and to activate my parasympathetic nervous system so everything calms down. And it's a contrast because I used to say, okay, I've got to relax, I've got to stop my mind from racing, I got to focus on one thing. And what I've learned is that if I use some of these tools and focus on my body, it activates a part of my brain that allows my mind and the rest of my body to relax. And that's when my mind can be open to a new thought, and even and especially a thought from God, from my Creator. So I'm gonna propose and invite you to try this, one of my favorite breathing exercises called 5-5-7 breathing. And as I've practiced this with a lot of different people, I really love to experiment. So I've had a lot of good feedback that this exercise helps. And a deep breathing exercise is also really helpful right now because medical researchers are saying that anytime we can fully enlarge our lungs, we can clear out any lingering fluid in the parts of our lungs and keep our lungs really clear. So that's the non-medical description. So we're gonna try to breathe in for a count of 5, and then we're gonna feel it filling our lungs. Let's do this. I imagine like the air just going L through my lungs and diaphragm. I'll try to fill for a count of 5. And then we'll exhale for a count of 7. And it's helpful for me to think about like I'm blowing out candles and I'm like the air is pushing through my pursed lips. And everything that I'm going to propose, I'm going to do it too. That's the only way that I can stay authentic and feel like we're in this together. So I'm going to just say I'm going to invite us and participate too. So it might sound funny because my voice will change as I'm changing my breathing pattern. And I also just want to point out that everything is an invitation. So at any point, if you're uncomfortable with something I'm doing or saying, please do whatever helps you feel peaceful and quiet. At every new step, my hope is that you'll feel like you have the opportunity to respond to the invitation and say, yes, I want to do this. I want to try this. And maybe I'm not so sure what it's going to do or why she's doing it, but I'm going to try it anyway. So please know that everything's an invitation. The other thing that really helps me is to prepare my body for being able to breathe well. So I'm just going to give some of the cues that I think about that help me. And I find now that if I start with a first step, even if I'm riding the metro or in the car and I'm not quite relaxed, if I take the first step, it can even actually activate me going through all the steps and finding peace wherever I am. So the first step I take is to feel my feet on the floor. And if I'm like, my legs are reclined, I can feel my legs melting into the couch or the bed. Wherever you're sitting, those are some of your options. But feeling where our feet and legs are. We're sitting, feeling our shoulder blades against the back of our chair. Doing the best we can to align our spines, to allow for full breaths. It does help me to close my eyes. So I'm going to say in, fill, and out. And about 10 cycles of that is approximately 2 minutes, which is what we've discovered our central nervous system needs to relax. So I invite you to join me. In, fill, out, in, fill, out, in, fill, out, in, fill, out. I invite you to keep going with that. In. Rather than focusing on what you're thinking about, focus on what your body's doing as you're breathing. In, fill, out, and then your abdomen's drop when you exhale. And then expand as we inhale in, fill, out, last one, in, fill, out. So the first step in the 3 steps of passing the peace is feel grateful. Think about something that helps me feel grateful. Here's a little stick figure, feeling grateful. So I've found that it's really helpful to choose something very tangible and concrete and present. So for example, someone was grateful for their fuzzy socks because their feet were cold. And so they could just wiggle their toes and feel their fuzzy socks surrounding them. Someone else was grateful for the warm blanket on their lap because it was cold and snowy outside and they were cold. A warm mug, again, going with cold, but a favorite mug and just what it feels like to wrap our hands around tea or coffee or a favorite drink. Or maybe the mug was a gift from someone, so that makes it special. I feel grateful. So think about something that's tangible that you feel grateful for. I actually brought my avocado today. I'm grateful for avocados. My daughter made this great breakfast with avocados, and thankful I can get to the grocery store and we can have avocado. So if it's helpful for you and it'll help you feel more connected and grateful, feel free to type in the chat box what you're grateful for. If not, feel free to just close your eyes and think about this thing that you're grateful for. And give us a couple minutes to feel what gratitude feels like in our bodies. Feeling the texture of the avocado skin on my hands. Remembering eating the egg avocado breakfast a couple of hours ago. And if it's helpful, I also invite you to just jot things down, or maybe even sketch up a picture of what you're grateful for, or how it feels to just enjoy this place of gratitude. So, let's see, is anybody commented? Grateful for my dog. Good company during this time. Yes. I'm grateful for sunshine in Colorado. I love sunshine. Very grateful for sunshine. Thank you for those comments. A warm home. Being in a warm home. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for sharing all those. All right, so this is step one. I like to think of this as home base. So it's the place I can always go back to if at any point I start to get distracted or tense or my thoughts start racing, or I even can kind of feel some performance anxiety, like, oh, I don't know if I can stay with this exercise. So let's go back to home base. I could grab my avocado and just say, all right, grateful for this. So we're going to move on to step two. And step two, we begin to immerse ourselves even more fully in appreciating a peaceful experience. And I have found it's really helpful for myself and for the groups that I work with to think about a time, an actual experience, a memory where I felt peaceful. And sometimes we have peaceful memories that are connected with other people. It might be someone that's no longer with us, or it might be someone that we're separated from because of distancing right now, or it might be someone we're separated from because of unresolved conflict. So it's helpful to set those kind of memories aside and really hone in and choose a memory that just is complete peace. A lot of times memories having to do with nature or enjoying something beautiful. Really beautiful. Oh, Scott is here. I'm grateful for his wife. I love that. Good to see you. So, and we have this phrase in step two, Hold up my picture. I open my heart until I feel peace. And so, for those of us that believe in God, we're opening our hearts up to God, and we can ask Him to help us feel peace and help us even choose the peaceful memory that we're going to go with. Because we can have all these different thoughts coming through our head at this point, and it takes about 15 seconds for our brain to hone in on one, and then we get to choose. Okay, I'm going to go with that memory today. So I'm going to give us all some time. And if you're not sure what you believe about God, I'm not sure if He's even out there, I just invite you to, it's a very vulnerable and courageous act to just, I want to open myself up to something bigger than myself, something that is bigger than myself. That's one of the ways spirituality is defined. So I'm going to open my heart up to something bigger than myself. I may understand it to be my creator. I may understand it to be God. I may understand it to be Jesus, Emmanuel, the God who's with us. I understand it to be Holy Spirit. Try to hone in and choose a peaceful memory. And if it's helpful for you, feel free to type in, maybe create a title for your peaceful memory and type it in. If you'd rather just stay in your own quiet space and not chat, that's definitely, it's your preference, whatever helps you. So we're going to try to really enjoy this piece, and I'll just give us a few prompts every 30 seconds or so. If that's helpful, feel free to listen. If you want to just stay in your own quiet space, feel free to stay there. So as we're thinking about this peaceful memory, let's try to notice and pay attention to how we're experiencing it with all 5 senses. So what we're seeing, hearing, smelling, maybe tasting and feeling in our mouths, feeling on our skin. What's happening in this memory with our senses? And I also invite us, it can be helpful for us to pay attention to what's happening closer to our core. So how does it feel inside our body to feel this peace? Is there anything I notice about what my heart rate or body temperature or breathing is like when I feel this peace? And it can be both the peace you feel now and the peace that you felt in that memory. And if at any point, again, if you feel like your peace is disappearing, you can go back to what you're grateful for. Grab onto that for a while. And if you feel immersed in this peaceful memory, it can be helpful to think, wow, what do I love most about this? What's my favorite part about this peaceful memory? And just savor that. Sometimes I like to do this. You know how we zoom in on our iPad or phone to make something bigger? I feel like some of the stuff going around the outside is less peaceful. I was like, I'm just going to zoom in and concentrate on that favorite part and feel that peace. And if it seems helpful and peaceful, this could also be a time when we invite God to show us what's His perspective, what is God bringing into our awareness about feeling this peace. Is there anything else God wants us to know about peace? And if it's helpful to just jot down a few thoughts and feelings and descriptions that you're having, you can even sketch a picture of what this piece feels like. And we're going to move into the third step. So this is when we think about what peace felt like, what we discovered, and we turn it into a story that we can tell others. And we hear others' stories. So what's helpful is to keep it fairly short and maybe say a little bit about what you felt like or what you were thinking before we began this exercise, and then what brought you peace in the exercise, and any descriptive words that would help the person listening feel like, oh, I'm there, I get it, I can see that. And then anything else that is helpful to share about what peace feels like and anything you discovered about peace. So it's kind of like a before after story, but we tell a lot more about the after part. So this is a time if you want to chat a little bit about your story and do your own little version of your peace story in the chat box. Feel free to do that. And I'll start by telling a little bit about mine. So I actually drew this picture when I was passing a piece yesterday. So this was my before, and I was likening myself to the Winnie the Pooh character Rabbit. And then after I did the exercise, this is how I felt after. And similarly, today, the peaceful memory I thought about was last week. I took a 5-minute rest on a hammock in our backyard and really wanted to go back and take a nap. That's what I was remembering. My peaceful memory was taking a nap. But all I could really do that day was a 5-minute rest, but I enjoyed every second of it. When my mind started to shift, I said, oh, I'm just gonna stay here. I see my feet on the hammock and the blue sky above me, and feel the sun shining on me, and I hear the loud sounds of the birds. Like, there's more bird sounds than I knew. There's so many different bird sounds. And as I opened my heart up to feeling that peace and thinking about God, my creator, being with me in that peaceful moment, it was like there was this invitation and this idea that I could access this peace anytime, anywhere. So that's a little bit about my peace story. Does anyone else want to share? Feel free to write in the comment box. What brought you peace and how does that feel? Is there anything you discovered you want to share? And also feel free to ask any questions as well. I'm just wondering if someone can just type something in the chat box just so I'm sure that it's still working. There we go. Oh, wow. A moment from vacation, snorkeling in Mexico, feeling weightless, warm, and seeing through my mask the pretty fish. That's so cool. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. These are broadcasts every day at 2 p.m. Eastern, and there are different people who are sharing the 3 steps to passing a piece, and everyone has their own different flavor. So I hope you'll continue to join in and experience the piece and learn from the examples. And I really hope that you'll find ways to pass the piece and listen and hear peaceful stories with the people that are in your life. Again, I want to refer you to Dr. Jim Wilder's. He has a 4-minute post that's excellent. That's just so important for the time that we're in right now. So check out the Life Model Works post by Dr. Jim Wilder that was posted last night. And also want to mention that the online groups that I'm facilitating, where we're practicing peace and we're learning other important relational skills, we have openings in our groups, and my groups start tomorrow. So if you want to join and be part of an 8-week introductory group to learning some of these skills, you can go to the Deeper Walk website. I'll just type in, I don't know if you think, but the Deeper Walk, and look for journey groups. And there are 8-week introductory groups that you can participate in and explore these practices with a group, which is so helpful. Oh, Sophia says, resting on the hammock at the lake with time standing still. Andrea says, on my deck in the early morning, listening to the bird song and experiencing the wind in the trees. Deep quiet. I just love how we have these beautiful gifts of creation that give us peace. Beautiful mountains of Colorado, virtually connected to my extremely gracious friends, Dave and Phil. Thank you, Steve. It's so good to be able to connect with friends. Wow, and it's interesting now how we're connected through technology, so we can actually be enjoying nature and be with other people. It's incredible. Thank you. Alyssa, looking at the fall leaves on a crisp autumn day, Jesus reminded me that he was there with me, standing beside me as I looked at all the beauty. It really brings me peace. Thank you. Could hang out here all day, feeling very peaceful and happy and connected. Thank you all so much for taking the time to be here. I hope you have a really peaceful day, and look forward to maybe seeing you again. Take care. Peace be with you.